This is your boy Brian, aka El Nino, and today I'm joined with
Jordan, aka Baby Knife.
big shout outs to our boy Ian for her nickname. So we are going to be talking about all things The Last of Us Season 2, favorite episodes, moments, highlights, some things that we would have liked to have seen. A little bit of backstory here for those of you out there, whether if you played the game or not. So I am in the middle of playing The Last of Us Part 2, and I am at the point to where it's the flashback with Joel. When we did the Last of Us podcast for the first season, I was just at the town scene. Bill's town. So yes, this is why we had it. So yeah, I was doing the Billstown gameplay, and I didn't want to finish until I finished the actual show. So I'm glad I did. At the end of the day, I just want to start off first off by saying a few things here before we get started. First and foremost, I think it's an incredible accomplishment that Neil Druckmann, the creator of this fantastic game that has won multiple awards, is very, very hands-on in the show. Has been from day one. Yeah. This is not a Game of Thrones, George R.R. Martin situation to where they had him involved and then the material ran out and they had to do their own thing. The guy that created the video game also created the TV show. So I know that there's a lot of fanboys, fangirls, fan people out there that are going crazy like, well, this doesn't match up to this doesn't match up to that. If they wanted to do it exactly like the video game, we could just play the game.
Just play the game. The game is better. The game is always going to be better. The book is always going to be better. Because it's got the original level of detail just play the game then.
Yeah.
It's just like getting lost and all that. I wish this, I wish that. I did it too for a little bit with this show. And then I let it go because I was like, it's stupid. Like, The Last of Us 2 is my favorite story game ever.
Yeah.
And I knew the show, it's impossible to just copy and paste that. I mean, I wouldn't want that because the game is perfect as it is.
Yeah.
And so you have to understand that this is them. That's why they're branching off and stuff and doing giving characters a little bit more of a backstory and adding characters. Like Jesse had way more of a personality than he did in the game. He was kind of a side character, really side character. Not really, but Yeah. And then they added the therapist, which is Eugene's wife, and Eugene wasn't even seen in the game besides in a photograph or whatever, and he just died of natural causes. Whereas in the show, he, that whole really amazing episode,
the flashback episode.
Yeah. So it gives more cool backstory and subtext to these characters. At least, I know the show's not perfect, and we'll get into that too. But
yeah,
it's
everybody
nice to
just relax.
Yeah,
just relax.
Just watch the show.
We get it.
Play the game,
it's not,
watch the show.
Yeah, it's not going to be shot for shot just like the video game. If it was, then what is the point of doing it all? So just calm down and relax. And then last but definitely not least, Bella Ramsey. I've loved this person since their first appearance in Game of Thrones. I think that they are a phenomenal actor. And on top of that, you got to remember, this is someone's kid. Y'all take it easy out there. They may not look exactly like Ellie does in the game and this, that, and the other, but goodness gracious, calm down, people. This is supposed to be just an extension, really, of the video game. And Bella Ramsey is a phenomenal actress. They can cry on cue. The guitar scene where they're playing Take On Me is ridiculously beautiful. And then when you see the switch turn, and of course, as always, I always forget to mention this. You think 7 years in, But, for those of you that have been fans and those of you just listened for the first time, there are spoilers ahead. When they were playing Take On Me, it was fantastic. Like, I'm not trying to do leave Britney alone, but take it easy on Bella Ramsey. Goodness gracious. Yeah. They are doing a good job playing a very, emotional, character. And at the end of the day, what I love about video games and shows like this, when it comes to the end of the world per se, whether if it's zombies, celluloids, whatever it may be, at the end of the day, the subtext is really, as humans, what will we do? Who is really good and who is really bad? Because when the stuff, I'm not saying it will hit the fan, hopefully it does not, but let's just say it did, we're all going into survival mode. There is no good guys and bad guys in this, that, the other. It's what am I going to do to take care of my family and those that I love? So it's very hard to differentiate on, and I think this season did a really good job of speaking to that as far as who's really in the wrong here. There's no right or wrong. There's people that look out for their own, whether if it's their actual family or family that's a community. So, at the end of the day, just remember the guy that created the video game is very hands-on on the TV show. So if you respect the game, respect him and his decisions, and take it easy on Bella Ramsey. Bella Ramsey, they're doing a phenomenal job. Bella, you keep doing you. Fuck the haters out there. Right. So, let's just get into it. So, right. Jordan, so first off, obviously we only got 7 episodes this season. We can see why at the end of the final episode. But as someone that has played both games through and through, what are your thoughts? And, let's just start off with kind of like favorite moments and things like that.
I noticed immediately within the first episode, there is, for all of us who love the games and want to see some parallels, there's a lot of line for line segments in the show that are exactly from the game. And the whole opening sequence with the alarms and Abby in the hospital, I love that as playing the game as well, because that's exactly how, I'm getting the show mixed up. That's exactly what happens in the game. That's how the shot looks, the red alarms going off.
Yeah.
I love that stuff too. So as the huge lover of the game, it was nice to get those, you do get some quite a lot of line for line just transfers over to the show, and you do get some shot for shot segments as well. So it's it's a pretty good mix of staying true to the game and kind of reaching out a little bit beyond what the game is able to tell us. Mm-hmm. So I really love that. It's really cool always to play a game and then you see something and then you see it transferred to a movie or a show, and it's done really well or done exactly the same, because not a lot of movie or video game transfers over to a show or TV or movie are great. A lot of them are way below par.
Yeah.
So.
And I remember in the first episode where Ellie is cleaning her gun at the table, which is where in the video game, where you could upgrade your gun and upgrade your weapon. I thought that was super cool for them to showcase that in the very first episode. Because we didn't see that in the last season.
I like the nod to game mechanics, the workbench, Ellie's knife in the table, for instance. She does that, sticks it in her table or whatever. And I think they showed glass. They gave bricks a little moment, or glass bottles, which in the game you use to hit somebody or distract somebody.
Yep.
So I liked seeing that this season as well. There's definitely more
I definitely feel like there was more nods to the game, the mechanics, just like you said.
The mechanics,
in this season than there was last.
Yeah, and the guns too. They were definitely showing that off. And
Yellowstone Season 5 Part 2 is now available on DVD and Blu-ray with over 2 hours of special features. Generations of blood have led to this. Yellowstone Season 5 Part 2. Own a piece of the legacy now on DVD and Blu-ray.
I really like the casting. The casting for Jesse is on point.
Hmm.
Dina is great. I love the addition. I wasn't too sure when they first introduced the therapist how it was. I was like, I don't know if this is gonna like adding a whole new character. I was just kind of nervous.
Sure.
But my favorite episode ended up being the one about Joel killing Eugene and the wife, which is the therapist and whatnot, because it puts like, and you can tell that is the one episode that Neil Druckmann himself directed this season.
Hmm.
And so I definitely noticed a difference. Not that the other episodes were bad or anything, but there was like a, that Last of Us game, like darkness
Yeah.
to it that just, is that's what he does. And so I love to see how that whole thing kind of served as a metaphor as well to like Ellie knew at that point that
Yeah.
Joel's capable of lying and he has lied to her.
Yeah.
He had good intentions, but still it kind of solidifies the fact that he's been lying to her the whole time about the Firefly situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that episode was amazing and tear wrenching and heartbreaking, and it did a really good job of just like tying in what everybody's purpose in this game is, like what Joel stands for and what he
Yep.
aims to do is just protect Ellie. It shows where Ellie's like, what's the word when you like held a grudge?
I mean, not just motivation, but at the end of the day, it's just like that's
Right.
her
Right.
reason to keep going.
Yeah,
And
that
just like she says to Jesse in the final episode when he's talking about community, and she goes, and like I said, again, spoilers ahead, my community was killed right in front of me. Her community was Joel.
So yeah, that episode was definitely my favorite. Other favorite, I mean, there's a lot of the show. I think I like the first season better. I don't know why, no particular reasons. Just did. I think I need to rewatch the first season. I haven't seen it since it came out. But this season had a lot of great things as well. Abby, this game is just so good. Like it's way more vast and complex than the first game because you're introducing Abby, you're introducing and in turn the WLF, you're introducing this group called Scars, this cult group. And so those two groups have a big role in this game as well. It's not just Ellie versus Abby.
Right.
It's like, and Joel dies. Like, it's also these other groups come in and make the story that much more complex. And they stand for different things. They all believe they're on the right side of justice when really they're all doing horrible things that you would probably end up doing in this post-apocalyptic world. And so, yeah, I'm really excited to see the second season and see Abby's perspective. I think the casting for Abby's pretty good as well. Caitlin Dever, I love her in Booksmart.
Oh, so great.
I really saw her like as Abby in that scene where she kills Jesse and she's like, I let you live, and then that's the end of the season. I saw her like as Abby there.
Yeah.
Like I was seeing her throughout the season, but like that I felt it. And so I'm excited for getting Abby's perspective going into season 3, I mean. Because yeah, and then you get to see that her whole perspective, and then you're really gonna be like, there's no Team Ellie, Team Abby, really. I mean, there is actually online, of course.
Right.
But it's very complex situation going on. And then, yeah, I'm really excited to see Abby's story and the characters that she meets in the game, which are Scars. They have, there's 2 characters that we're going to meet that really enrich the story as well and kind of make things more complex about that whole cult group.
Yeah, because the one scene with Jeffrey Wright as
Isaac,
when he's interrogating the guy, he's like, "We don't lose people. You lose wolves every day, and they come to us. We don't lose Scars, and they go to you." So that's, obviously kind
Oh
of like
yeah.
precursor of what's to come, because there is a lot to learn about the wolves. And where I'm at in the video game right now is the flashback with Joel, and they're getting ready to go to the like museum and the space capsule and all that. And I've seen a little bit, obviously watching my daughter play, and I know what's coming up next. And we've talked about the Rat King and things like that, which, obviously we'll see next year. But I thought it was super cool how they did the Seattle day 1, Seattle day 2, Seattle day 3. And then, in the final episode, then you see Abby wake up, and waking up where the headquarters are for the Wolves, which is pretty much, I can't remember the name of the stadium, but it's where the Seattle Seahawks play. And you just see how massive it is. But there's also so much going on in the season, just like when they were attacked. And as we're watching it through Ellie's view, she's trying to figure out what's going on. So there's a lot to be excited about for the next season. I know there's a lot of people that are out there like, they were just giving up. And after they kill Pedro Pascal, like this and the other. Listen,
that's what happens in the game.
What happens in the game.
He's not in the game like that. He's
and
in the flashback.
my daughter was with me as I played the game, and Joel died, and I was like, even though I knew it, because we can't have nice things nowadays. People like to spoil stuff on social media and everything else. I didn't expect it to happen that quickly, which it happened episode 2, which a good segue for me. I think episode 2 is probably by far my favorite episode of not just this season, both seasons. I asked my daughter, I said, listen, is there a point in the game where they actually attack, or, the celluloids,
the Horde?
The Horde attacks Jackson? And she said no. So I thought that was an exceptional touch. It reminded me a lot of, I wanted to say the Battle of Winterfell, but I think that was taken a little bit too much, for the Game of Thrones fans out there. It definitely reminded me a lot of the Battle of Blackwater, which was season 2 of Game of Thrones, of course. It reminded me a lot of that. It gave me those
it was epic
type of vibes. And it was just so much in an episode. The storm, you don't know.
They're frozen over under the snow.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And then you're seeing Abby's side, Ellie's side, Joel's side. You're seeing all these multiple angles. And then, of course, Tommy being the defender of, really this last stand for humanity, where they're not, battling with scars. Yeah. And Maria. So seeing all that to me was just absolutely incredible. And the scale was, it was Game of Thrones-esque. You could tell that there was no, they didn't spare any expenses on that. It was beautifully shot. It was terrifying. It was scary. It was incredibly emotional, obviously. Even if you played the game and you went through Joel dying, it still didn't compare to, our daddy per se, Pedro Pascal, who we love so much. And of course, like I said, seeing Bella's reaction to it, tear jerking. It just struck everything, because I think the big complaint with season 1 is there wasn't that much action. Everybody wanted more action. And really the most action that we kind of saw season 1 was when they were escaping Pittsburgh, and then the Horde came up from underground. And that was it. And at least this one, we got to see more. And we actually, if you want to speak to this, we got to see them a lot sooner than we do in the game. The stalkers.
Oh, yeah.
So, we saw a stalker on episode 1.
Oh, right. Was it episode 1?
It was episode 1. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
what? It might have been episode 2. It might have been episode 2.
Yeah, that's not, I don't remember when exactly in the game, but it's definitely not super early on like that. And in the game, it is terrifying. It's scarier than the show, because it's darker, and I don't know, they crawl really fast, and they hide.
Communicate.
They hide from you, and you hide from it, until it just suddenly decides to be to go for it. And then you just got to start shooting. So that, yeah, I like the Stalkers. It's definitely a good addition to the. I'm glad they put it in the show. I don't know if I care that they like put it in the show sooner than I anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's really cool, the behind the scenes of. I don't remember which episode behind the scenes it is, but of like the special effects of that and the stunt coordinating and like, you know, how they were able to rip the fence off that cage that Dina was like, that Ellie told Dina to run into, and the movement and whatnot. It's really cool. If you have a chance to check out the, what is it called? The behind
the making of
The Last of Us at the end of every episode. If you just wait till after the little credits or whatever, really good stuff in there.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. So besides that, as you mentioned, I love Catherine O'Hara as a psychiatrist. I think that she was a phenomenal addition to the game. Jeffrey Wright, to me, can do no wrong.
Right.
He's been on Westworld. He's been in so much, and I can't wait to see more of him in the next season. That's really, I guess, as far as like gripes go, I don't have too many because, again, I didn't finish the second video game. But as I've gotten older, I've also tried to appreciate movies for what they're worth. And I know I brought this up a few times before. It's like Ready Player One. Love the book. Absolutely love the book. I went in and saw the movie for the first time, and I hated the movie because it wasn't representative of the book, especially certain aspects of it. Like the first mission in Ready Player One, in the book, you have to go in and play a skeleton in the game Joust. Like, you can't make that exciting for a movie-going audience. So they changed it to a super duper race where you get to see everything from the Bigfoot truck to the DeLorean to everything else under the sun. Like, there's going to be adaptations, and even people that have written books and Stephen King's even said that The Mist, the movie The Mist, to him had a better ending than his book did. So, you know, it just happens. Like, don't get so stuck to the source material. Like, appreciate it for what it is. And again, this is not a situation where they just bought the rights and did whatever they wanted with it. The gentleman, Neil Druckmann, who created the game, is 100% a part of the process for the show. So, you know, again, I'll just get off that. I thought the Paramount Plus hit series Landman Season 1, starring Billy Bob Thornton, Demi Moore, and John Hamm, is now available on DVD and Blu-ray with over 85 minutes of special features. Landman Season 1, own it now on DVD and Blu-ray. So one of my favorite scenes, and this is before we get to the Joel flashback episode, is where you could visibly see Ellie turning into who they are in the game as they are chasing down one of the people that was there, one of the wolves that was there when Joel died. And, you know, the character played by Tati Gabrielle, which she was in The New Adventures of Sabrina, which was actually a really, really good show on Netflix. Nora. So where Ellie chases down Nora, and Nora's like, "Oh, you're so stupid. You killed us both." And Ellie's like,
"Yeah, this is exactly, she's pretty much like the game as well. If you're
I'm immune, bitch." And, you know, and then she's asking her where Abby is. And then you just see that transition to where they go from like kind of level-headed to, I'm going to do whatever I can to kill whoever killed pretty much my family, which was Joel. And I thought that was just spot on, in my opinion. What do you think compared to the game, in particular, that scene?
Yeah, I mean, for game lovers, it's cool because it's really, really similar to what happens in the game. Like, she chases Nora, and the whole game, like, or the whole scene of the game, you're like jumping over like gurneys and like trying to catch her or whatever. And then, yeah, she ends up at like a locked door and she says, I'm pretty like some of that is line for line, I'm pretty sure. And the lighting is like red like that, kind of like Abby in the beginning in the hospital. It's that blinking red. And so you see it on like Ellie's face, like from Nora's perspective, as she's like coming toward her, like, where's Abby? For me, the game is way cooler just because I don't know. Like, just playing that, maybe it was just like the first experience playing that in the game is like, just feels like, damn. Like, it's just one of those things that, like, for a first experience,
Yeah.
it's cool no matter what, whether your first experience with that scene was the show or the game. For me, it was the game. So I just think that was cooler because that's what I have in memory.
Now, in the game, did Ellie already know that Joel did that?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
The game,
Because to me, I thought that was the coolest part where Nora was like, do you know what he did? Like, he murdered everyone. And Ellie's like, I know. And like, no emotion, nothing behind her eyes. They're like, I'm going to kill you, bitch, regardless. You need to go ahead and let me know where they are, or I'm just going to make this very drawn out and very painful for you.
yeah. And I think in the game, hopefully I'm not just making this up, like dramatizing it even more. I don't think I am, but like you just see like, I think you see like blood spatter on her face as she's like beating her with the pipe or whatever. I love that too. My one gripe, I think it's a lot of the gamers' gripe, to be honest, is it's pretty consistent throughout The Last of Us to the game. Like Ellie the whole time after Joel dies is very angry and vengeful, and at the end of the day, like just like that's all she wants. Like she's just angrier the whole time.
Yeah.
And I prefer that because that's how the game did it, and it translated so well in the game. Like, and there was just some things in the show that I didn't like as far as that. Like, it was just too soon after Joel's death, and like an episode or two later, like Dina's like, I'm pregnant. And she's like, I'm gonna be a dad. Like that is that part. I was like, this is not Ellie from the game.
Right.
Because you know what Ellie says to Dina when she says that in the game? She calls Dina a burden. So like she like in her head, she does not have time for that.
Yeah.
That shit.
Yeah.
Like, so that the whole gushiness with her and Dina, I mean, I love them in the game. I like them in the show too. The chemistry's great, but it's hard to see that like after Joel, it just doesn't check out with the Ellie that's there immediately after Joel dies. She's like, it's go time. I'm going to murder this hoe. And that takes longer in the show for her to get there. It takes up until that. It's a harsh transition. Like that scene where she beats Nora is like, okay, now she's like angry. Whereas in the game, it's pretty steady. And that scene just kind of solidifies it more than anything in the game where she beats Nora. It's kind of just like, oh, now I see what she's physically willing to do to somebody. But you kind of already, you knew it was going to ramp up to that in the game. Whereas in the show, it just kind of was like, okay, now she's angry after all this, like, kind of like too playful Ellie moments, I guess, that I just didn't care for too much. So I wish because I just like that. I like the darkness of The Last of Us 2, and I like her, like watching her anger, draw out, because this is only the beginning. Like, we saw that she shot Mel, the pregnant woman, on accident. That does happen in the game. I don't remember if it happens by accident or not. But either way,
I know that they added on the fact that in the game, Mel doesn't ask her to cut the baby out.
That doesn't happen
in the show she does, which makes it way more intense.
I'm pretty sure it's not an accident in the game. Like, she shoots her and then she's on the floor and she unbuttons her jacket and like sees the baby bump, and she's like, oh shit. Like, I'm a bad person, maybe. but yeah, like she's about to go rampage mode, like in the game standard. So I hope the show does that too, because it's just like the things this tiny girl is doing, this 19-year-old girl is doing, and she's causing a havoc. So I hope to see more, like I hope it's just like ramping up that angry Ellie, like, you know, because that's part of this story, and that's, you know, once we get to the end of it, it just makes it all the more. I don't want to use any words that would spoil anything, so just effective, I guess I would say.
All we've spoiled really is some of this season, and that's it. So I'm definitely looking forward to season 3. I do plan on actually finishing the game before season 3 because we'll be lucky to get it. Everybody's already saying 2 years. Let's face it, it's probably going to be 2 years. You know, that's kind of the timeline with especially these big budget shows for HBO. Yeah, House of the Dragon.
A lot of shows.
Everything else. Yeah, I mean,
Stranger Things.
Oh, gosh.
Like, there's a lot of shows that just the timeline for studio is just getting.
Yeah. And hopefully no more pandemic. Hopefully no more writers or actors strikes or anything like that, which, you know, we know it prolongs Stranger Things, but at this point now I'm like, please, Lord, let's just finish this. So again, what would you know, I know that you said that you like season 1 better than this one, you know, as far as like out of 5, where would you rate season 2 for The Last of Us on HBO Max, HBO Cinemax, whatever it's going to be called in the next couple weeks?
3.7.
Okay. And this is out of 5. So before you start freaking out, people, it's not 3.7 out of 10.
No.
So 3.7. Yeah. That's good. You know, because I have not finished the second game, I'm going to give it a solid 4. You know, as I said, I'm older now. If I would have started this podcast in my 20s, you know, we'd probably be shitting all over everything and going balls to the wall. And I'm not saying that we're here to say everything is fantastic and it's rainbows and sunshine. I mean, we're gonna give you the straight truth. But at the end of the day, like, again, take it easy on Bella Ramsey and remember that Druckmann is a part of the show, a part of the creative process. If you're going to trust anyone, trust in the person that actually created these 2 beautiful video games at the end of the day. You know, whether if you like quote unquote horror games or not, like put it on easy mode like I do. I'm older now. I don't have time to try to prove anything to anyone, especially myself, and putting it on medium or hard. I actually like the story modes. I want to see the story. Even with Call of Duty, I love the campaigns. I do. I love it more than the multiplayers. I like seeing the storyline behind it.
So even if you don't want to play it or you don't have like a game system, watch a walkthrough on YouTube.
Yeah.
Watch like a gamer do a walkthrough, and then, you know, you get some commentary, but find a YouTuber you kind of like and watch them. That's how I've seen like a lot of games that way. And it's still like you get the same effect when it's a good story game. Like you get the same effect and the same fun of playing because like this character or this YouTuber, whoever is making decisions with the controller, and you can kind of like, or like this or that, and you kind of get used to how the game goes as well. So it's still fun. So even if you don't have a game system, I recommend going on YouTube and just watching somebody play it, because yeah, the game is amazing. Like there's so much detail that the show's never going to be able to possibly to capture because it's not the game.
Yeah.
So go on there if you have time and watch it, because it's really good and it'll be fun to compare it to the show and like, oh, you recognize this now or this or
And if you love the game, just don't get upset if, you know, certain scenes weren't on there. You know, with Billstown, like I mentioned, I would have loved to have seen more of like the gadgets and the booby traps and all that stuff. And it ended up, you know, being more of a story about Bill and his love story. And it was a phenomenal episode. I mean, Nick Offerman can do no wrong. And that's what Druckmann is trying to do, is give people a glimpse of what they weren't able to add to the video game and bring it to the screen. Like apparently he's already said that the ending for the show is going to be completely different than the video game. So You know, at the end of the day, like, everybody just relax. Like, we're here to be entertained. Let them entertain us. It doesn't have to be verbatim every single thing that's been done in the video game. Then what's the point to it when you can just go back and play it? So, but yeah, you know, 3.7, 4.0 for me. At the end of the day, you know, great watch. Now that it's over, you can binge right through it, get into it. Season 1. If you've never played the game before, I definitely believe you'll enjoy it, especially more than the gamers that are incredibly avid and want to bitch about everything.
Like, even
so yeah, she's played it all.
It's impossible to play a game that good and like go watch anything related to it after,
right?
Like, or else my rating would probably definitely be higher. But like, I can't help that I played the game first, and like I'm passionate about it, and I love the details and the storytelling. And when you're passionate about something like that, it's hard to like not want loyalty to those ideas.
Right.
And I know I can't change that like completely about myself. I've accepted like my like gripes and things with the show and whatnot are like my original thoughts before like actually thinking about it and not just thinking through the internet's perspectives, like having my own thoughts. I was able to enjoy the show a lot more, just like reassessing my like immediate judgments about whether it be casting or like character additions or plot additions or plot deletions. Like was a lot more at peace watching the show and having a lot more fun once I just kind of accepted that.
You got to.
I love the game, and that's the only reason my rating is the 3.7s, because like I just can't help it. Like the game's a 5.
Yeah. You got to. And I mean, we all have our opinions on casting, on scenes that we would love to see. It's inevitable. It happens. We cannot make everybody happy. Directors and writers and producers can't make everybody happy. And goodness gracious, there's so many trolls on Facebook. It's absurd. You know, I mean, to me, the timeline on Facebook is pretty much the bathroom of your local dive bar. You know, it's just shit everywhere. And then occasionally somebody writes something funny. You know, at the end of the day, and this is just kind of advice for all of you out there, don't worry about everybody else. Do what makes you happy. Put out what's going to make you happy, and respect to the opinions of your very close friends and family, because there's always going to be haters. There's always going to be trolls. And you know what? Don't let them define you. They're not paying your bills.
Especially on such a mass scale as any HBO project, and especially The Last of Us just being such a successful game.
Yeah.
I mean,
and, you know, there's talks about God of War being in the works, and who knows? There's always going to be something to complain about.
God of War.
Yeah, War, you know, and at the end of the day, there's always going to be hundreds of thousands of people out there. This sucks because of this and this, that, and the other, and yada, yada, yada. You know what? Have at it. You probably think our podcast sucks. That's fine with me. We've been doing this 7 years, and it makes me happy, and I get to do this with my daughter, and hopefully I get to pass it down with her. So at the end of the day, we're having fun. If you're enjoying it, fantastic. If you're not, then don't listen. You know, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. So
we do not care.
Yeah. Yeah, we're here to just kind of entertain, you know, spread a little bit on some mental health and you know, talk about the things that we love, video games, movies, pop culture, everything else. So on behalf of Baby Knife here, this is your boy El Nino. I'll get the end credits going here in a minute, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Peace.
Victory!
And anger management?
Fuck anger management.